So for lesson 5, we are going to be covering lists, tables, and CSS borders. And so we're going to start with the lecture demo. Make sure you do read the chapters in the book. There's not a lot of pages for this. These are the only pages that you need to read. And then you're going to go through the lecture demo, which basically expands upon what you have read. And so going through here, we start with lists. And there's 3 types of lists you're going to learn about. You're going to learn how to do a numbered list, which is an ordered list. You'll learn how to do a bulleted list, which is unordered. And you're also going to learn how to do a description list. So there's information describing how to create each one, and then also how to use attributes so that you can change the style of the numbers in an ordered list or the bullets in an unordered list. So you can change the way they look. I encourage you to go out and try these interactive exercises. This is using an ordered list, but if you wanted to, you could also change it to unordered and see what that looks like. So we could actually change this to unordered. We can kind of get rid of the type, and we can run that. And you can see that now you have bullets. And then we can change it right back to ordered. And you can run it, and you have numbers. So it is helpful to practice at this site, and if anything gets messed up, all you have to do is reload the page. So this is showing you, again, different styles that you can apply. This attribute is called list style type, and then you give it a value. And your values can be lowercase Roman, uppercase Roman, etc. And if you want to try that out, you can check out this link. Okay, and you can see that they've got upper Roman here, lower alpha, so you can see what they look like. We've also got some different bullet styles here as well. And so you can kind of change them up. So if you want to see lower Roman, upper alpha, and run it, you can kind of watch them change. Okay, so here's more information on the unordered bulleted list. And another type of list that you don't see very often is a description list. It's very good for terms. So it starts out with a DL, and then you'll notice that we have a data term and a data definition. So we have our description list, we've got the term and the definition. And this is how it ends up looking. So it's kind of unique and different, and you can use the interactive link to practice. You can also do lists within lists. So this is a nested list. And again, a link to that. CSS borders basically let you highlight a section of your page by putting a very colorful border around it. Not only can you put a border around it, but you can put the borders above, below, or on the left or right. So it's pretty flexible, and this section tells you how to do that, gives you examples with the code used to create the example. And again, there's the interactive link. We do get into graphical tables and how to create them. This is something that is on your certification exam, so make sure you pay close attention to how you set tables up, what the different tags mean. You also need to make sure that you understand table captioning, how to add the captions, and what the table grouping tags do, because all of this is on the certification exam. Okay, once we cover how to create the tables, you learn a little bit of how to format the tables. And a lot of those same border commands that we were just looking at that you can apply to paragraphs and sections and articles, you can also apply those to your tables. And we get into different types of cell formatting. We get into merging rows and columns. So this used to be occupying two different rows and we merged them. And this used to be occupying two different columns and we merged those as well. It's called row spanning and column spanning. And you will learn how to do that as well. And then the last thing we cover is we get into doing like news columns, and it's done using straight CSS. Okay, so there's just a couple different CSS rules that you have to apply. One is column count. Then you can specify your gap between columns. And then the column rule is just the line that displays. If you want a line, you put that in. That's all you have to do to get news columns in CSS. Okay, so you learn about that as well. Once you finish with the lecture, you're going to move on to your textbook assignment, which is going to give you practice using the techniques that we discussed in the lecture and the book. There are quite a few things for you to download because I'm giving you pictures and I'm giving you kind of your skeletons HTML. I'm also giving you CSS. And then you're basically going to go through and make changes. So here you're going to convert paragraphs within your summary tags to unordered lists. So this is what they're going to end up looking like when you're done. So you can kind of go through. There's examples, there's videos for you to watch. I encourage you to watch the videos because they do walk you step by step through how to do all of this. Okay, and then here is modifications to your style sheet. And if you're wondering, yes, the crumb cake is an actual recipe. Here we've got Hitchcock movies. You're going to download this. And this is the one that you're going to practice using the table code on. So you're going to create a table in here. You're going to add some CSS for the table. You're going to add you're going to modify the crumb cake. You're basically going to add a table to the crumb cake. That's what this is. And then you're going to go back to Hitchcock and you're going to do some row spanning and column spanning. And then the last thing you're going to do is do a news column. So basically you're going to download this page and you're going to be adding some CSS to it. Okay, so that's your assignment. Once you finish that, you're going to move on to your lab assignment. So this is a little more free format. What you're going to have to do is meet the minimum requirements. It does not matter what you create your pages on. You just need to follow NMC's Title IX and Student Code of Conduct, which I've supplied links to. And for your first page, the requirements are one ordered list, one unordered list, and at least one table. So you can do another recipe if you want. You can do a flyer, an advertisement. It can be whatever you want. I have an example of a resume, and I like orange, so I picked orange for it. If you want to know how I did this, you right-click, go to View Source, and you can see my CSS and how I did the different sections in my HTML. Okay, you do not need to do a resume, but if you want to, this is an example that you can look at. Part 2 is creating a news column format. It does not matter to me what you use. I decided to give you an example, and I used the poem The Raven, and I kind of threw a raven into the background. Okay, so if you want to take a poem, that's fine. If you want to do a different article, that's fine too. You do need to cite where you got it from. And if you're curious, you know, what I did with that graphic, I did change the opacity on the graphic so it's lighter. But you can take a look at the source. Okay, and I put the CSS right in here so you can see, here's the Raven and the settings that I used. So part 3 is updating your assignment page with links. So this is what it should look like. And these are what my links look like. Now, if you named your folders different than me, okay, if you put spaces in them or you made them lowercase, you have to match how you named your folders. Same with the way you named your files. If you named your files with uppercase letters, then you need to do the links with the uppercase. If you test your pages offline, upper and lowercase doesn't matter, but when you put them on the internet live, it does matter. They will not work. Okay, so make sure that you match how you created the folders, match the upper and lowercase letters 100%. And then you will not have any problems. Okay, here's how you're going to be graded. Okay, and that is the 2 assignments for this week. We also have an event this Sunday at Incredible Mo's, and if you go, then you have the opportunity to get 10 points extra credit. You should see the drop box down here at the bottom. So after you attend the event, you'll just click on here, write up a little summary of it, and submit that, and then I can give you the extra credit. You also still have the opportunity to get the extra credit for doing the test of everyday reasoning. So if you complete that test, I will be able to give you 20 points extra credit, but the test is only good through tomorrow, Friday, February 8th. So if you're planning on doing that one, you're going to want to do that soon, or the opportunity will no longer be available.